What is going on, investing bros? I am Atish Room here, and man, it is yet another day here in the crypto world. We're going to be shifting our focus to Ethereum today because we have a pretty decently sized development in the rating for the probability of a passage by the SEC of the spot Ethereum ETFs. We're going to get into all of that here in just a second, and it is a pretty big breakthrough. But let's look at the charts first and take a look here. You can see Ethereum has been able to stay up above $4,000 per coin. Has wicked down on the lower time frames down here to, on the first wick here, 3,971 and then 3,978. So putting in higher lows there. I'm on the 4-hour chart here, so this is a pretty low time frame for some people who are just investors in Ethereum, but for traders, this is actually a pretty zoomed out time frame. So overall, we can kind of look back further at going back to just kind of the beginning of March. You can see that we've spent the majority of the time well above the upside of the Bollinger Band here, not really spending too much time below it. Where we did spend time below the midline of the Bollinger Band, it was very brief, right? Did not spend more than 2 candlesticks at any given time here, before March 6th. And then when we dipped down below it here, we printed 1, 2, 3, and a handful of candles. So just a handful of candles under the midline of the Bollinger Band. So what does this mean overall? Ethereum is still pretty bullish, right? Folks in March and in February have been really looking at the coin and saying, I would like to have that as my own because it looks like the price ascension is certain, right? All through February, we spent a lot of time above that midline of the Bollinger Band, right? Now, it actually got pretty oversold, Ethereum did, still here on the 4-hour. According to Lux ALGO, you can see got a good bit oversold, overbought, got a good bit overbought, and you would have known that by Ethereum starting to trade outside the upper Bollinger Band there. But you could also seen it here on the Lux ALGO oscillator matrix. It got up to 96 here, and we did have that reversal delta that finally did go ahead and play out. And obviously, this is where we spent time below that midline of the Bollinger Band, right? So that all lines up. Currently, really not that overbought, gotta say. We've gotten a reversal dot, and the money flow is coming down. It's moving in the wrong direction here on the 4-hour. So overall, what gives? Well, that's what we're going to be getting in today because we're not really that overbought. We didn't get to these levels that we got to back here on May the 5th and February 29th. That led to a pullback. But right now, we're starting to see kind of that money flow wane, although we have not gotten to those overbought levels on the oscillator. So hopefully you're tracking with me. Hopefully that makes sense to you. It makes a lot of sense to me. Basically, it kind of brings a very big question mark to my head. Why? Why are we getting a reversal here when it's not really overbought? Aren't we in a bull market after all? Shouldn't the pullbacks really only come when we've reached extreme levels of overbought? And we're going to get into exactly why here in just a second, why that might be. Meanwhile, on the Bitcoin charts, you can take a look here at the Bitcoin charts. You're seeing something somewhat similar. You are getting a little bit of a rollover here. But it's not really rollover. It's really more just flat, kind of a flat top, as Tim was talking about yesterday on the 3 p.m. show. If you tuned in, you might know why I have a smile on my face for that one. And if you've not watched it, go ahead and watch it. So ultimately here, we did get a reversal delta here on the 4-hour chart. This came in yesterday. And while we haven't reversed to the downside, we have kind of paused our move higher here. Bitcoin, of course, getting as high as 72.9. I even saw it at 73 on some exchanges, 73,000. But getting as high as 72.9 here on the Coinbase exchange, and then just kind of moving inward, right? Just staying flat. Buyers were not really letting it go much lower than 71,500, right? But also it couldn't really push much higher than 72,003. So Bitcoin kind of, that equals sideways, right? just starts kind of trading sideways. That's usually good for the alts. But today I must say that movement has been muted to the upside. Injective is kind of the exception to that rule. Injective's having a really good day. So is Toncoin. XRP continues its rally, which is somewhat nice. Although I say it continues its rally, let's actually go check in on XRP because I believe it did get rejected on a major level that I had drawn out. Yep. So XRP, just a real quick news update on the charts. Now I don't do a ton of XRP TA, but this one was pretty clear. It got rejected here at 74 cents. It was trying to get up above that. This is still the 4-hour. This is the 11th of March, so this was yesterday's trading price action. Since then, it's had a retracement of about 6%. So that doesn't bode well for XRP. You would have liked to have seen it, obviously, kind of break through here, come back, and then flip this downtrending line of resistance as support to be able to make a run higher. We did not see that. Instead, we saw a rejection on this level and a move lower. Now it could come up and test again and try to get up above and go higher. But from the looks of it, there was not enough buying in this zone, right, to really push it higher. So my guess is that you're going to have, and I hate to say it, but you're going to have some whales, trying to push price higher here to inspire more buying from retail. But you could see it kind of come up here, get rejected, and then reconfirm it as resistance, which isn't great. But what did we just see with Bitcoin though? So we saw it do something else. It kind of came up and then just kept knocking until finally it broke out to the upside, right? So there's alternative universes where this could be bullish for XRP. Smash the like if you are an XRP army fanatic. If you want to see XRP do well. I don't want to see it do poorly. I'm just calling it how I see it here on the charts. Bitcoin and Ethereum, both looking kind of moderate today. They both have room to run on the oscillators. That's one thing I've kind of pointed out here, is that we're not really in a very overbought range here, according to the oscillator matrix from ALGO. Still plenty of room to run here to the upside. We got as high as 96 and 98 levels previously in February 28th, and then on March 4th, and it looks very similar over on the ETH charts. Right now, not really all that overbought, right? It's technically overbought if you're looking at it from a binary. It's not underbought, right? And it's not completely evenly priced. It's not just right here at the 50 level. So, from a binary standpoint, if you had to put a gun to my head and say, is it overbought or underbought? It's overbought, right? But it's not at the levels that we've seen. So what does that mean? It means it could have room to run, absolutely. And when it does, it could run up another 3-5% very quickly, up to $75 per coin. So that's for Bitcoin, $75,000 per coin. All right. Well, overall here, we're kind of zooming out and asking the question, what gives? Why is momentum seem to be slowing in the crypto markets? Why can't it get up to those overbought levels that we saw back in early March 4th, and then February 29th? Well, let's go ahead and get into it. I think it has a lot to do with this man right here. Just kidding. It has to do with this man, Eric Bulkanis. He said, yeah, our odds of an ETH ETF approval by May deadline are now down to 35%. This is why you clicked on this video. This is why this is the biggest news of the day, in my opinion, for crypto. 35%. I get all the reasons they should approve it, and we personally believe they should, as do I. But all the signs and sources that are making us bullish 2.5 months out for Bitcoin spot are not there this time. Note, 35% is zero, still possible, and long term, we think it will happen. This is a response to the following tweet, where Eleanor Tourette said something about this other tweet, which I'll get to in a second. But she said, this squares what I'm hearing too, but Jake's point, that does not mean it won't get approved this year, just that time is clearly ticking down to the May deadline with no meaningful engagement yet from SEC staff on applications. This is the keys right here. Meaningful engagement from SEC staff on applications. This is what Eric was referring to right here. The signs and sources that were making us bullish is the staff communicating with the applicants, the BlackRock applicants, the Fidelity applicants, whoever is Grayscale, all of the different applicants for this Ethereum ETF. Now, what did Jake Chervinsky say? He said a lot of stuff here, so I don't think we're going to get into all of this. Let's read the cliff notes here. It brings me no joy to be on ETH ETF bear. I've been working for Ethereum in one sense or another for 5 years. I want the ETF to be approved. It should be, but I'm calling it how I see it, and I see an SEC that 1 dislikes crypto as a concept, sees no value in the technology, except for Hester Pierce, of course we know that, and thinks attacking it is politically advantageous. Seeks to please progressive elected officials, has a wrong but not insane basis for denial. And then it gets into spot futures correlation, which might be foreclosed by Grayscale opinion, but not necessarily given how the DC Circuit framed its ruling as a failure by the SEC to justify its position on absolute judgment on the correlation issue. So there's reasons why Ethereum SPY ETF may not be passed, may not be approved, that are different, that are not present for Bitcoin. And that is true. Could come up with new grounds for denial that weren't tested by Grayscale in court, which could likely also be subject to court challenge, but may be easier for the SEC to justify. So if you're feeling your heart race, if you're starting to feel some negative feelings here, this is really where all this goes, is a court challenge. And if you've been in crypto, it should not be all that new to you to see the U.S. judicial system get involved here with conversations and quarreling between the crypto industry and the Securities and Exchange Commission, right? Grayscale, Coinbase, Ripple Labs. There have been many significant, milestone, watershed, however you want to call them, court cases here that are defining an emerging industry that is crypto. And it's not just in the U.S., it's all over the world. It's in Hong Kong, we're hearing about it. It's in South Korea. It's in the U.K., and ultimately, guys, it looks like so far crypto is winning the battle, and it's winning the battle decidedly, right? But the SEC continues to fight. The SEC does not want to give it up. It's not exactly clear what their intentions are for being such meanie heads, right? But at the end of the day, they are continuing to put up a fight, and we're going to have to probably, at this point, right? Now we're starting to be able to make some conclusions and start to come up with an investment plan of how we're going to play this. I would say that I'm not there yet. I need to dive. I'm just almost an hour in to seeing this new rating, this update here, 35% likelihood of an approval of the ETF for Ethereum. That is not a good rating, right? It's less than 50. So what does this mean? To me, today, I am starting to think, okay, so how do I plan? How do I position my portfolio appropriately, conservatively, responsibly to account for this new information? Because up until now, I would say that I was assuming that this will be passed on May 23rd, which is the final deadline for the SEC. The SEC approves is the body that is responsible for approving or denying this ETF. And it looks like, according to the experts, which you may not consider them to be the experts, but these are certainly these names: Eric Wilconis, Eleanor Derit. As far as I'm concerned, right, there's probably people who have more expertise, right? But these are the folks who I count on to kind of form my investment plan. I'm starting to think about how to adjust my portfolio accordingly. I'm not going to share that live because I don't know what that plan is yet. I'm just digesting this information, and probably by 3 o'clock, Tim and I'll have maybe some more notes to communicate with on there. But likely, guys, this is going to court. If 35%, that's so low compared to 50%, that's so much lower than if it was 45%. Then you start to have a little bit of a different conversation. But this is decidedly less than 50-50. right? So what happens here? It goes to court. It looks like Gary Gensler is yet again going to rely on the United States judicial system to go ahead and make the decision for him, because he, for whatever reason, is not wanting to just go ahead and make the decision. Now, what does this mean? It means that the deadline really is de facto just being pushed out, because Ripple Labs has already taken to court. XRP has already been shown to not be a security to retail. Bitcoin has been shown not to be a security, right? And an ETF, a spot ETF, was passed for it. Ethereum already has ETF futures trading, right? And BlackRock has basically never gotten rejected in its ETF applications. There's only one exception to that rule. So everything is still pointing towards Ethereum ETF is imminent, right? But it looks like the deadline has just been pushed out. So then the question is, well, how is this event going to be affecting price? And the question that I think is most important in answering that question is, how well educated are Ethereum investors on this process? Are they staying up to date on these minute-to-minute updates from Eric Polkanis and the Bloomberg percentage likelihood of the passage of the spot Ethereum ETF? Is education seeping down to everyone? Or when we get to the 23rd, everybody is like, what? It's not being passed? They're rejecting it and they're getting immediately sued by BlackRock and Grayscale, right? Does that spread panic, and do people start to sell? I think with the level of investors in Ethereum, I think that they're going to be well aware by that date of what's going on, and they're either going to have sold by that point because they don't feel comfortable holding that at that point in time, or they're just going to hold it, right? I don't think there's going to be a lot of folks selling on the day. So let's turn to some other analysts who are trying to answer this question in real time as well. This is from bitcoinsystemy.com, which is not a website that we go to very much, but they do have some analysts here from a name that we trust, which is Blofin. That's kind of crazy, kind of random. We did not plan this, but here we go. Perceptions on Ethereum ETFs turn negative. How will ETH price be affected? Again, these are analysts from Blofin, so kind of cool. We'll circle back on that, of course, because it's a perfect opportunity to tell you all about our trading partners over at Blofin. But they said this: at this point, while the approval probability of spot Ethereum ETF is priced at 35%, Blofin analysts evaluated the decrease in the approval probability of spot Ethereum ETF and how the ETH price could be affected by this situation. Many investors believe that following the approval of the spot Bitcoin ETF, it was only a matter of time for spot Ethereum ETF to be approved. Some analysts even believe that the probability of approval of the spot ETF for Ethereum could reach 80%, as BlackRock was one of the applicants for the spot Ethereum ETF. However, as more details emerge on the matter, analysts gradually lowered their expectations for spot Ethereum ETF compared to spot Bitcoin ETF. At this point, the negative impact of the POS mechanism, the proof of stake mechanism, price manipulation risk, and securitization risk significantly reduced the likelihood of spot Ethereum ETFs being approved. But fortunately, whether spot ETFs are approved or not, the final outcome will not affect the ETH price breakthrough. So this is a sentence that could do with a little bit more clarification, in my opinion. However, they do kind of come to the same conclusion that I have come to, which is, yes, this is not bullish. This overall percentage likelihood shift down to 35% is not bullish, but it is not likely to have an impact on price in around that date, in my opinion. I think, though, that between now and then, the price of Ethereum is going to see volatility. I will put it that way. Now, how could this get worse? One thing I'm looking out for is a removal of applications, right? If we get a headline, BlackRock has withdrawn its application for a spot Ethereum ETF, that's big no bueno time, right? Because that means they're not going to be entering into the lawsuit against the SEC more than likely, right? And that's a big heavyweight to lose. Doesn't mean that they're going to lose the doesn't mean they're going to lose the court case. Grayscale, assuming would be the one bringing the suit, but having BlackRock be a part of that lawsuit, even if just symbolically, would be very significant. If BlackRock withdraws, which I'm not anticipating at this point, I'm just saying this is a headline to look out for. If Grayscale withdraws its spot Ethereum ETF application, that's pretty bad, right? Again, I'm not anticipating these things to happen. It's just showing you all how could this get worse, right? So ultimately from here, what do we do? Well, I'm going to take a couple days. I don't think that the price of Ethereum is going to sell off because of this. I really don't. This change. I think what's going to happen here is that the market is going to reevaluate, and Ethereum probably will get repriced to the downside. But I don't think it's going to be very aggressive. And I think more than anything, you do have to take a step back and realize, what are we seeing in the markets, guys? What have we seen the last couple days? An absolute mania moment for meme coins, right? We're still seeing bullishness in names like Injective and Toncoin. This is not a sea of red that I'm seeing right here, right? So there's still bullishness. There's still new retail coming into the space, and there's still whales and dolphins that are reallocating, probably taking profit on Ethereum and Bitcoin and rotating into smaller coins, right? If we start to see a lot of liquidity leave crypto, that may be a sign that we're going to have a correction, that we're going to have a 15, 20, maybe 30, or maybe that big scary 40% pullback, right? That Tim and I have been kind of quote unquote warning you all about. Again, I don't think that that's coming, a 30 or 40% pullback. I don't think that's coming here. But it has happened in the past, in previous bull cycles, in the phase that we're in now of those bull cycles. So it's just something to be aware of here. Again, if I sell my Ethereum, I will let everybody know first in the Discord for the investing bros. So make sure you guys join that. I will drop that in chat room. At this point in time, I do not anticipate selling my Ethereum. But if I do, what would I rotate into? Probably the Bitcoin mining stock CleanSpark or Render. Render is not something I have enough of, and that's something I want to get into. I feel like I'm very official with reporting on this. To some extent, I do feel pretty confident that I've been watching this like a hawk, and if I do go ahead and make a decision to kind of part with some Ethereum, then I will bring it to you all's attention. But I'm not the end all be all by any means. I take it very seriously because I feel like I do try to stay on the cutting edge of this. But obviously, it's not financial advice. And again, I will repeat, at this point in time, I do not anticipate selling Ethereum. Why? Because I don't think that this, even if the SEC did reject it, right, which it's not a 0% chance that they are going to accept it, right? It's a 35% chance that they're going to accept it, which is it's a lot different from zero. But even if they did reject it, it's just going to go to court, and it's just going to eventually be approved. A, and B, I didn't buy Ethereum because I anticipated a spot ETF to come out for it, right? The only reason why I would consider selling is because if the market is uneducated, if we get closer to the deadline and the market is still like, yeah, spot ETF, yeah, and they're just completely ignorant, oblivious to the fact that there's only a 35% chance that experts are saying it's going to get passed, that's when it's scary, because then when and if it's not passed, then there could be a significant sell-off to the tune of probably around 40%. Okay, so that's my analysis on Ethereum. And I have another article to kind of further illustrate this. We'll go through quickly. Ether put demand signals weakness after 4K price breakout. Ether puts, which is a way to short, kind of, it's a way to enrich yourself in a move to the downside for Ethereum. Ether puts expiring in 30 to 60 days traded at a premium to calls a day after the cryptocurrency price broke above $4,000. Crypto options data from Derit shows the relative richness of puts likely stems from concerns that the U.S. SEC may not approve the highly anticipated Ether spot ETF on May. So all eyes are on Ether right now. It's an important movement, and whether or not it happens is going to be significant. How significant and And how much of that significance actually gets baked into price movement, we don't know. We shall see. Haven't checked in with chat yet, so let's go ahead and do that. Kaya React said, I already sold some of my ETH into AVAX and FET.ai. Nice. Good move. Let's see. Drew XRP said, and I'm pretty sure the swap is from ETH, so perfect timing. Oh, I think there was more to that one. There was more to that one, so we'll just keep moving here. Kingston Crows said, what's up with AMP? It's running. I don't know, but if it's running, then let it keep running. The May ETH ETF would not allow staking. Okay, that sounds interesting. Lion in my pocket. That is a weird name, man. I like it, though. Kathy Wood said waiting for the crypto legislation would be more beneficial for the ETH ETF because it would allow staking. Gotcha. Interesting. I'm not sure. That's a lot of information for me to process, but that's interesting. Gary made mad Lizzie. Now Liz isn't giving Gary any action anymore. Okay. Thank you, Eric. Let's see. I live in New York. It won't let you buy pith here. Very few choices. What? That is so... Why do people live... First of all, why do people live where it's cold? I know there's a lot of people listening to the sound of my voice who are like, T-Shroom, I live where it's cold. I live in Florida, and I'm like, I just don't get it. I watch all these fail army videos. Like half of the fails are people just slipping on ice and like cars sliding on the ice, and it's like, why would you live there? I don't get it. Let me know in the comments. Why do you live places where it's very cold? So anyway, I don't know why you live in New York for that reason, and also because of the limitation on your crypto freedoms. GS, I think mining plays and MicroStrategy are much better than Coinbase. I don't know. Coinbase does have their earnings coming up. That might be a buy the rumor, sell the news event, that Coinbase earnings. That could be pretty big. That's not for a while, though. Crux Crypto said, is it sad seeing XRP get wrecked like this cycle? I sold all of mine a few months ago. It certainly is sad for a lot of reasons. Let's see. There's a lot of folks in chat. Blackie Chan said, good morning. I'll be lurking all day today. He's lurking. He's lurking, folks. All right. Do we have any bullish articles? We absolutely have some bullish articles. Really quickly, El Salvador is sitting on $84 million in profit from its Bitcoin holdings. Can you believe it? Bitcoin's 250% rise over the past year has catapulted, that's a good word, catapulted the Central American nation's Bitcoin treasury of over $206 million worth of Bitcoin as of Tuesday, a 69% gain on an initial capital so far. It holds almost 3,000, so 2,681 Bitcoin, according to their wallet data. Acquired over 12 separate purchases at an average cost of $42,600. That's not too bad of an entry level. That's not too bad at all. A lot of the bigger institutions and I guess countries, they do have a little bit of a higher entry level than me, at least, and a lot higher than Tim. Tim has some really good entry level. And maybe you're listening to the sound of my voice, you're like, T-Shroom, I've got an excellent entry level. My entry is less than $2,000. Actually, let me know. What is your average entry for Bitcoin? I'd love to know. In the chat and in the comments, let me know how much you beat me. If you can I think mine is like 28,000. If you can beat me, I want to know. Yes. Coinbase trying to take the SEC back into court or something here. Coinbase accuses the U.S. SEC of breaking the law and rejecting crypto rulemaking. Lawmakers for Coinbase are arguing that the securities regulator has acted arbitrarily and capriciously, when it claims authority over crypto assets, while also declining to write new regulations on how those assets should be treated. Instead, the agency steered its oversight of digital assets through its enforcement actions, the company argued in the opening brief of the lawsuit. Folks, if you are trading crypto on a regular basis, anywhere near $50,000 worth of trading volume, then stop what you're doing right now. Switch over your funds to Blofin, and you'll actually get a free spin, free chance to win an Apple Vision Pro, where you can be trading in VR. And also, you have a chance to win cash prizes and an iPhone 15, which is a lot of fun. And guys, you only have about 2 days left, so a day and 20 hours left to make it happen there with the spin wheel over at Blofin. And if you're just looking for a great leverage trading, no KYC platform, go over and check out the Blofin link in the description below, and you're going to have a lot of fun. T-Shroom out. Guys, if you're going ahead and you're trading today, whether through Blofin or however on Robinhood or whatever it is, make sure that you keep your stop losses tight and stay hydrated. We'll see you at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bye.
Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor of the TA. Shout it out loud on the PA. T-Shroom's news, got your word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.